Hello, everyone, and welcome to your weekly dose of the Green Balance Sheet. I'm your host, Wakile Dlamini, and this is the place where we discuss the economic impact of environmental issues. Now, today's country of focus will be the Republic of Singapore, a country that is located in the southeast of Asia. Now, this country has a population of about 6 million people. Singapore is also known as one of the most densely populated cities in the world. Now, the reason I'll focus on Singapore today is because according to Acadia's Sustainable Cities Index, Singapore is the most sustainable city in the world. And we want to find out how that came about. While they faced major environmental issues such as industrial pollution, deforestation, seasonal smoke, and waste disposal problems. Now, as always, we have a couple of environmental experts, and these experts are well informed about the environmental challenges that Singapore face and the solutions to address these problems. Now, with all that out of the way, let me introduce our first guest, Lwandisile Dlamini, an environmental economist who has extensively studied air pollution in Singapore. Welcome, Lwandisile.
Thank you so much for having me, Wakile. It is great to be here. As you have mentioned, Singapore is a dense, urban, and highly industrialized city-state that faces significant air pollution challenges. The main pollutants are vehicle emissions and transboundary smoke, haze from regional land and forest fires. While Singapore's air quality is generally better than many neighboring cities, the haze episodes in 2013 and 15 were particularly severe. The 2015 haze event lasted for about 46 days, causing school closures, disrupting outdoor events, and impacting public health. This really highlighted vulnerabilities of Singapore to environmental problems that cross national borders.
That sounds like a major crisis because, I can't imagine there being haze for 46 days. Can you imagine the environmental impact that had? But anyway, so what has the government done to try to address the air pollution problem there?
So Singapore has taken a multi-directional approach. In response to the haze episodes, they introduced a haze subsidy scheme to provide financial assistance for medical treatment of haze-related illnesses. This helped reduce the impact on vulnerable groups like the children and the elderly. They also enacted the Transboundary Haze Pollution Act in 2014, which makes it a punishable offense for entities to engage in activities that contribute to haze pollution in Singapore. This was an innovative legislative move to hold companies outside of Singapore's borders accountable. Additionally, Singapore has implemented strict vehicle emissions standards and a rigorous inspection regime to reduce pollution from transport sector. The National Environment Agency takes a hardline approach, fining owners of smoky vehicles.
That's a comprehensive set of measures, hey? It really seems like Singapore's government really tried its best to address these environmental challenges. But Singapore has also faced significant environmental challenges that are related to deforestation. And I see here that you brought a guest with you, Mika Kian, an expert on waste issues in megacities, to discuss this.
Hi Wakile, thank you so much for having me. So picture this. Back in 1819, Singapore was pretty much a dense rainforest, home to a mere 150 souls. Fast forward to today, and you'll find it bustling with over 6 million people. This explosive growth means lots of forest had to make way for homes and roads and businesses, leading to a big hit on the island's biodiversity and ecosystems. The Singapore government wasn't about to let their nature slip away. They set up sanctuaries like the lush Bukit Nature Reserve and the intriguing Singai Buloh Wetland Reserve, preserving pieces of paradise amid the urban sprawl. They didn't just stop there. They rolled out strict rules to protect venerable old trees and pockets of green across the city. In 1992, the Minister of Environment and Water Resources introduced the Green Plan. Now, this wasn't just any plan, it was a bold vision to balance Singapore's economic engine with environmental harmony. Part of this plan was the Garden City vision, which has turned Singapore into an urban jungle in the literal sense, with trees and gardens flourishing throughout the cityscape. Additionally, Singapore has invested in environmental education programs to raise public awareness about the importance of the beautiful biodiversity conservation and sustainable land use practices. So from a tiny rainforest outpost to a green metropolis, Singapore's story is quite the journey, showing us that even in the face of rapid growth, we can keep our world vibrant and alive.
From what you've just said, it's clear Singapore has made significant efforts to address the environmental impact of deforestation. But waste management is another major challenge that the country faces. Can you tell us more about that, Mika?
Absolutely. Okay, so Singapore, with its dense population and the breakneck pace of development, faces some serious waste management hurdles. The country's only landfill, Semakau landfill, is on a tight clock, and it's projected to fill up by 2035, and that's like 10 years from now. Let's face it, space for trash is far from infinite in such a compact nation like Singapore.
Now, how is Singapore tackling this sticky issue, or should I say smelly issue?
Wakile, well, that was very punny. They've got some smart strategies up their sleeve. First up, there's the pay-as-you-throw system. So this system is pretty straightforward. Households and businesses are charged based on how much waste they produce. This not only puts a price on generating waste, but also nudges people towards a less wasteful lifestyle. A clever move to make everyone think twice before throwing something out of the window. Then, they also implemented the mandatory recycling program. It's made super convenient with recycling bins scattered all over the city, making it easier for everyone to do their bit for the planet and keep it green. But here is the real game changer, guys. So Singapore has gone big on waste to energy incineration plants. These facilities are not just about getting rid of the waste. They actually shrink it down by up to 90% and convert what is left into electricity. It's like hitting two birds with one stone. They're reducing the landfill mass and also lighting up homes. With these initiatives, Singapore is not just managing its waste, it's actually turning a challenge into opportunities for sustainable growth. This approach isn't just smart. If you ask me, it is necessary for survival in such a space-constrained place like Singapore.
Those sound like some pretty innovative approaches, eh? But I also understand that there has been some challenges with public acceptance of certain policies, like the pay-as-you-throw system. Can you elaborate more on that, eh?
Absolutely. Okay, so while Singapore's pay-as-you-throw policy has made strides in reducing waste per capita, it is definitely not without its hitches. Some residents aren't too keen on the system, and a few have even found ways around it, leading to issues like public waste dumping. It is a classic case of great plan meeting the tricky reality of human behavior. But every challenge is an opportunity in disguise, right? There are several avenues Singapore could explore to further refine their waste management strategy. One promising approach is to increase subsidies and incentives for businesses to switch to eco-friendly and recyclable products and packaging. Making it financially attractive to go green could accelerate change and reduce waste at the source. Additionally, upgrading waste sorting facilities could definitely make a massive difference. If recycling processes are made more user-friendly, people are more likely to participate. Imagine streamlined, high-tech sorting systems that are as easy to use as they are efficient. This could significantly boost recycling rates and ensure cleaner recycling streams. These improvements could not only enhance waste management in Singapore, but also serve as a model for other densely populated cities like maybe Beijing facing similar challenges. It's about building a system that is not only effective but also adaptive and responsive to the needs and behaviors of its users.
So, just to build on what Mika just said, I think public education and awareness campaigns will be crucial. Many Singaporeans may not fully grasp the severity of the environmental challenges or understand the importance of individual actions. Strengthening those efforts could help foster greater buy-in and behavioral changes.
That's a great point, eh? Engaging the public and getting their buy-in seems to be key for the success of these environmental policies. Now, before we wrap up, I'd like to get your overall assessment. Do you think Singapore is on the right track in addressing its environmental challenges? And what more can the city-state do?
So overall, Wakile, I'd say Singapore is making significant progress, but there's still work to be done here and there. The government has shown a strong commitment to tackling air pollution, waste management, and deforestation through a combination of policies, legislation, and investments. The Haze Subsidies Scheme, Transboundary Haze Pollution Act, Vehicle Emission Standard, nature reserves, and tree conservation efforts are all important steps. On the waste side, the focus on recycling, waste to energy, and economic incentives is also commendable. However, as we discussed, there are areas for improvements, such as enhancing public engagement, providing more business incentives, and upgrading waste infrastructure. Continuing to innovate and adapt will be crucial as Singapore navigates these complex, evolving environmental challenges.
Sounds like it's time for Singapore to innovate, improvise, adapt, and overcome.
I 100% agree with you guys. Singapore has made impressive strides, but maintaining its clean and green reputation will require sustained, continuous effort. Balancing economic growth with environmental protection is an ongoing challenge, especially for a densely populated city-state like Singapore. Ultimately, I am optimistic that Singapore can serve as a model for other megacities grappling with similar issues. Its willingness to experiment with new policies and technologies, coupled with its strong governance and enforcement capabilities, positions it well to tackle these critical environmental concerns head-on and grab the bull by the horns.
That's really a great overview of Singapore's environmental challenges. It's clear that Singapore is tackling some formidable environmental challenges, but also demonstrating leadership and innovation. Thank you both for sharing your valuable insights today. This has been a fascinating discussion.
Thank you so much for having us, Wakile.
It's our pleasure.
And that's all the time we have on today's episode of the Green Balance Sheet. Join us next time as we explore more environmental issues impacting cities around the world. Until then,
Stay green.